Hey everybody, Jackson here, and today I'm gonna talk about another tutorial. So, I kinda already knew how to do this, or at least partially. Mainly because I read the FNF documentation. Thank you so much, KDev and the people behind the Funkin documentation, for telling me this, because, oh my god, this is mind blowing. But this tutorial is actually going to be something that you guys might not be expecting. So, this one is actually for the main Friday Night Funkin', and you know the stage editor. You know how like a lot of people say that the stage editor is buggy and stuff, and while I'm not gonna say it isn't buggy, I will say it isn't entirely dysfunctional. In fact, as of writing this, it actually works. And by the way, the version I'm using is Friday Night Funkin' 0.8.4. If you are using a different version or if a newer version of the stage editor releases in the future, do know that this tutorial please know that this tutorial may be outdated. This is for Friday Night Funkin' V-Slice 0.8.4. Also, this tutorial is only for the computer, also known as desktop version of Friday Night Funkin', not the mobile version, since on mobile you can't really access the stage editor. They also patched a bug where you could access the chart editor, so yeah. But yeah, I'm also using a Windows keyboard for this video, so just know that in order to hot reload on a Mac OS, if you don't have you either need a Windows keyboard, like a keyboard designed for Windows computers, not just like a regular keyboard, or you need to completely close out the game and reopen it. Anyways, without further ado, let's begin. Okay, so I I already put my images in my mod folder before doing this video, but I put them in images. Please don't confuse it with the images folder in the shared path. I did it in the regular one. Also, by the way, this stage is actually from one of my mods called Bad Word. Um, if you want to go play it, well, number one, thank you. And number two, I'll leave a link down in the description. Please play Bad Word. Thank you. Anyways, back to what I was saying. Yeah, that basically put in your images or whatever, and yeah. Hey guys, Jackson after recording this video. I actually found out that the stage editor kinda, well, what do I say? It removes the folder or the path where the images come from. Um, it just puts them in the FNFS archive instead of putting them in their designated folder. So, for example, I put my stage files in like a folder, and it's like your stage here, and inside of it is the images. FNFS files are a bit different as they put the images directly in the archive instead of in the folder. I would recommend editing the JSON just to make sure and also prevent file override, as my this tutorial, like the files I use for this tutorial, actually overrode another mod's files. So yeah. Okay, so upon entering the menu, click your debug key -6 and go to the stage editor. By the way, I have a couple mods installed. And I may not be on sync, but yeah. Obviously, firstly, click create empty stage. Don't mind my mods. I mean, the reskin isn't my mod. That's Faithful Funkers. And yeah, in the Windows menu, there's several categories like object data, animations, object properties. There's stage properties. And also, by the way, you can change the name there. And there's also character data, where you can actually change the characters if you want to preview how different characters look on your stage. A while after, I actually tried the test stage button. For me, it didn't work. In view, you can change the theme. You can change the camera, like you can see the different camera boundaries. all this stuff. You can also hide characters. In the bottom left corner, you can swap between different between selecting the characters and the objects. There you can also select different characters, cycle through them, and also if you right click on different options, you can customize how the editor works. Also, by the way, I'm changing the opponent to another opponent from one of my mods, because why not? He's so skunkly. I'm so sorry, actually. Anyways, yeah. So, as you can see here, this is the character properties menu. This footage is pre-recorded. I'm just voicing over it, so, yeah. If I sound a bit off, yeah, that's why. This actually took quite a while to record, because I was goofing around with it myself. Anyways, go to edit and click new object. I'm gonna put the name, and by the way, this is what it gets referred to. Capitalization and grammar, and capitalization and spelling is important. Usually, whenever I did it with a JSON, I put them in lowercase. However, here, I did something else. Okay, so here, I kind of just loaded an image, and this is for animated sprites, by the way. So, yeah. And so, I just did this or whatever, and yeah, then I went to load file, and for a while I was thinking, is it the PNG file? No, you have to select the XML file if you want to add animations, at least to a Sparrow stage element. Also, quick trick, if you're on a Mac and you want to select something, just click quick look, and and usually it's to say open after that if you have the preview thing on. Anyways, after that, then I clicked set as Sparrow, and obviously, one sec, okay, yeah, it works now. And then, yeah, after that, I kind of just move them around. I'm also going to show you how to add a plain object, a non-animated object. It's basically the same thing. Go to edit, click new object, go to object graphic to add a new graphic, and make sure you are selecting the designated object. And go to images and select your object file. Do not do the object frames or whatever unless you have an animation. So yeah, enjoy. I'm just gonna speed up the footage real quick because this took quite a while. But enjoy this speed run of me making the bad word stage in V-Slice. Okay, so now I'm gonna layer each object. So again, you can also click the objects in the editor, but you're gonna want to go into Windows this time and go to Object Properties. Here you can change things like, well, anti-aliasing. I recommend having that on. Keep that on. You can also add you can add blend modes. You can also change the hue, which I'm not going to do here. I don't know how that's going to go. You can flip the objects. You can change their order on the stage. You can change their opacity, their position, their scroll factor, which is essentially just how much does it affect them, and it's usually used for parallax scrolling, by the way. How fast do they move around compared to the camera, and how much do they move in relativity to the camera. So yeah, I'm just gonna edit some things here, and yeah. Okay, so after you're done with that, go into objects and click objects and switch it to characters. Here you can, I'm also going to show the character properties, but here you can move around the characters with your mouse or with the text fields and position them. Here I'm dragging them around, so, yeah, basic stuff. And by the way, zooming in and out, that's not what the stage actually looks like. And in actuality, if you click view, it'll show you the camera boundaries. I'm also gonna save this real quick. It's really important that you save it somewhere so that you can back it up. But here, I'm also gonna add the animation real quick. So what I do is just don't put a bunch of zeros. Put your animation name and then a 0. And you know what's important? Put plays on an initialization. That makes it so that the animation automatically plays. If you want it to loop, click loop. You can also adjust the offsets here, but that's for another video. So yeah, I'm gonna save it again, and yeah. By the way, I'm not showing that part since it's irrelevant. And here's the part where I realized that test stage didn't work right now. Anyways, here you can also adjust the zoom, which again, sadly, I could not see what it looked like until after, but yeah. Here you can see the camera boundaries, which I mentioned earlier, which are very helpful and also can also show what it's like whenever the camera is zoomed in. So, yay! Thanks, Funkin crew. You can also adjust the camera offsets, but don't set them to 0 unless you want it centered around the character. Usually they're offset just so that, just slightly to the left or right, so that you can see a bit of the other character. You can also show the floor lines or whatever. So yeah. I would recommend also keeping elements of your stage inside of the camera boundaries so that it doesn't really break the illusion. So yeah, now that I've saved it, I'm gonna exit out and I'm gonna show you the next step. So this next step is going to be very important. Go to your file and it should have the extension FNFS. And this works the same way as it does with FNF chart files. FNFS files are actually a zip archive. However, they have a different file extension. Usually I just rename the file and one second, I gotta duplicate this. This is my logic in recording. But after you dude, okay, I don't know. I should cut out things like these, but I don't care. Anyways, after that, go to your rename the file and delete the FNFS part and replace it with zip. If it asks you to keep the FNFS extension, say no. Keep it as a zip. After that, open it up, and yeah, there's your stage file, and there's your images file. Place those in their corresponding locations. Place the stage JSON in the stages folder in data, and place the images in their designated path. So yeah. Okay, so after testing out your stage in the chart editor, and by the way, this is the part where I realized that it's a different path, but after I reloaded, test it out, and it works if you've done it correctly. For me, I just press 8, and you can open up the stage editor during gameplay in case you need to mess around with things. So yeah, that's the end of this tutorial. 3, 2, 1.